What is going on, everyone? My name's Andy. Welcome to another FPL video, and today it's the Game Week 33 preview. We're back with another one already. I will say that I'm recording this as the second round of Double Game Week 32 games are on the Wednesday. Otherwise, there's just not enough time to get this video out. So I don't know my final score. I haven't done that badly that I've only scored 63 already. Actually, just as I started to record this, Laporta's got an assist, which is nice. I've actually dropped in rank so far. I've got a red arrow, so hopefully we can make that green tonight. Sterling's not playing, Aguero's not playing, Rashford didn't play last night, so it's going to be tough, but hopefully the guys that I've got left can pull through me some points, and we can get that overall rank increase. I'd like to see at least a 4 or 5k green arrow this week. I think it's going to be really tough now, but we'll see how things go. So just to quickly take a look at stuff, obviously I can't go through everything because all the points aren't updated, but is it a double or a single game? We knew there'd be rotation. I think you just get unlucky with things like Aguero getting injured. Obviously Rashford was ill. And Lindelof had issues, which meant he couldn't play. So I think we need to come to terms with the fact that at this point, double game weeks are probably going to be single for a lot of players, but not everyone, of course. And obviously in a single game week, players can still score big. But teams have got such big squads now, or clubs have got such big squads that they can rotate where needed. And if there is an injury or whatever, they've got the players to back it up. So they don't necessarily need to rest people all the time, and other times they can. And if you look at Chelsea, we thought that David Luiz might miss out, and it's Rudiger that's missed out. So sometimes you just get it wrong, and that's what happens. Man United awful. I just wanted to say that. Pogba was probably one of the worst players this double game week. Smalling scoring an own goal. Ashley Young getting sent off. It couldn't have gone much worse for Man United players. So if you free hit, obviously you probably doubled or tripled up in most cases, and it went really wrong. And then I kind of want to talk about free hit mistakes, because I think a lot of times people look at strategies and then they base it on 1 week's worth of scores, or one player doing well, one player not doing well, and decide it was a mistake. So I've seen people say that free hit was a mistake this week. Double game weeks aren't as good as they could be. But I think you have to forget the double game week part and remember that some teams haven't played in 1 game week, and then others have played twice. And obviously then there's some teams that play in each game week but maybe only once. At the end of the day, this is a pretty hard time of the season to navigate without chips. Now, it can be done, and if none of us had chips, we would work out a way to do it. But saying free hit was a mistake because you haven't scored as many points because the player you picked was wrong. Like, I got lucky with Azpilicueta. I could have easily had David Luiz. It doesn't mean that I've done something wrong. It's just luck of the draw. Every decision in FPL can be hit or miss, and I don't think that free hitting this week was necessarily a mistake. Yes, someone could have free hit earlier and triple captain this week and done better than you. That doesn't mean the strategy was right or wrong at the end of the day. I think FPL is quite hard to actually analyse in that point. So yeah, I'll leave the review there. I don't think free hitting this week was necessarily a mistake, but it hasn't maybe been the big score we wanted. But at the end of the day, the actual score, 100 plus points, doesn't matter. Only a green arrow does, and beating the average. So fingers crossed that happens. I'll find out after this video is finished. So looking ahead to 33, hopefully not too much is affected by the rest of the Game Week 32 games. Obviously a lot of those teams that are playing twice anyway don't play in Game Week 33, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I did get a few questions for looking ahead, Game Week 34, 35, etc. I haven't done too many questions on that or gone into it in too much depth because the turnaround time for Game Week 33 is pretty small. So let's get this game week over the way and then crack on to Game Week 34. So first up, people are looking at Arsenal assets. Now this is looking ahead, but also because they have a game in Game Week 33, which some people might have forgotten. I kind of did until recently as well. So they've got no blanks left now, and they've got a double game week in Game Week 35. So I'm kind of drawn to them, especially if you've not got chips like wildcards left or even free hit for Game Week 33 if you're looking to bring someone in. My only issue with them is they've got, I would say, winnable fixtures. When you look at them on paper, Everton, Watford, Palace, Wolves, Leicester, Brighton, no top 6 games, they look pretty good. But when you look at it a bit closer, I mean, Watford and Wolves have shown you don't necessarily put too many goals past them. Man United had those as double game weeks teams, and they struggled. I mean, Wolves away is really tough. And even Everton away, earlier on in the season, I said, yes, there's goals in that, but they're on a really good run of clean sheets. And then Palace, Leicester, and even Brighton at home. I think Brighton's probably the easiest one. But Watford and Leicester away are going to be tough enough as well. So I think they're winnable games for Arsenal, and they can obviously, their players can get points in them, but I don't think they're easy necessarily, even though on paper it maybe looks okay. And then I looked at the last 6 weeks. So obviously there's a total of 540 minutes potentially that you could play over 6 weeks. So only Leno, Socrates and Monreal have played every single minute. If you look towards players that we might look at like Lacazette and Aubameyang, Lacazette's played 438 minutes. In 2 of the games he only played 26 and 55 minutes. Aubameyang's only played 319. His minutes have been really sporadic recently. And then players like Ramsey, we've seen him, I think he scored 2 in the last 3, but if you look at his minutes, he's almost missing every other game, and he never gets really to 80 or 90 minutes that often. So although I'm drawn to Arsenal because they've got no blanks and stuff, I think it's hard picking one of their players. I'd probably look at Lacazette right now, getting a few more minutes than Aubameyang, and for less money, which I kind of like as well. But outside of that, I just don't know where I'm going. Kolasinac again, he's got 5 points over the last 2. Clean sheet, but unfortunately 2 yellow cards. But again, he didn't play the 2 games before that. Monreal's played every minute, and we've seen him be attacking in the past. But I don't know about Arsenal. I would probably on wildcard look to get maybe 1 or 2 of their players in, but I'm not sure I'm going to triple up. And I think Aubameyang, for that price, if you're worried about minutes, when you've got the likes of Kane, Spurs have got good fixtures, maybe even still fitting in the likes of Rashford, Jimenez, I think it's going to be hard to fit in Aubameyang. So I'm not completely set on that. I'll probably make a decision for Game Week 34 wildcard. But I think this week, for example, for Game Week 33, they're interesting because most of us that prepared for 31 and are carrying the same team through to 33 probably either A, don't have enough money to get one of their players in, or don't have enough transfers. So I think there could be interesting differentials this week, but they are playing an Everton side that have kept a few clean sheets recently, so we'll have to see how they get on. Is it time to ditch Salah? So I'd probably say not this week. It's Southampton away, right? Maybe if you're wildcard and you could think about it. As it stands right now, on my 34 wildcard, I'm probably not going to go with Salah. I just think he's too much money and he's not in good form. Mane, I don't want to say cover him, but he's basically in the same team, scoring more points for less money. So if I really need a captain from Liverpool right now, it should be Mane. Shouldn't be Salah. He's got 1 goal and 2 assists in the last 9 games. I think over that time, Mane's got about 8 goals or something like that. Now, the fixtures are still pretty good. No double game week, but Southampton away, Chelsea at home, Cardiff away, Huddersfield at home, Newcastle away, and Wolves at home. So there's a question coming up, or a question came in about the number of Liverpool players on a wildcard. And some people are wildcarding this week. I think I would still have 2 or 3. Salah, I'm not counting him out because their fixtures he could do well in. And I think it would be a brave person to bet money that Salah continues this run of form to the end of the season, especially with those fixtures. But right now, I'm probably not going to go with him. So I'm going to go with Mane plus 1 defender, almost certainly Robertson, and then maybe Trent if I think there's some clean sheets there. All depends, obviously, how I work the wild card. But yeah, for me, is it time to ditch Salah? Not this week. But I think on a wild card, it'll be difficult to keep him because of the price. And again, players like Kane have got really good fixtures. I think Spurs have got nice fixtures, even in the game week 34 when Brighton and Cardiff have got a double game week. Spurs have Huddersfield at home, I believe it is, so a decent enough fixture. So it's going to be hard to keep Salah. Probably make a decision next week personally, but I think this week you have to keep. And then Pogba, is he a goner? For me, he's going. He's gone already. I'm not getting him back on wildcard. So I saw a stat from FPL Editor at FPL Editor on Twitter, and he said his first 10 games under Solskjaer, 9.5 points per game. Obviously, this is in the league. 8 goals, 6 assists. That is incredible. Now, yeah, of course, he can't keep that up. You'd expect him to do something. In the last 5 games, no goals, 1 assist, 1.8 points per game, which is truly awful for a player who's 8.9 million. They've got a blank, then West Ham at home, and then the double is Everton away and Man City at home. So that's not even that easy. Then it's Chelsea at home again, not easy, and then Huddersfield away and Cardiff at home to end the season. So for me, I'm getting rid. I mean, after the blank, West Ham at home, could he do something in that game? Absolutely. West Ham are a bit all over the place. But when you watch him play, body language doesn't look great. He's gone back to kind of showboating when he shouldn't be. Watching the game last night against Wolves, just bad touches, bad passing. Just didn't really look up for the game at all. There's rumours that he wants to go to Real Madrid. We've seen him do this before. So I'm a bit worried about him. He's had to play a bit deeper as well. Solskjaer's even said that he thinks he can play deeper, which is basically what Mourinho said. So things not good there for 8.9 million. So for me, he is a goner, doesn't play this week. I won't be looking to have him in my wildcard as things stand. Number of Liverpool players already done. Free hit team, I mean, without going through the full 11 and player by player, I think I'd still go for 3 Liverpool this week against Southampton. I'd still go for 3 Chelsea against West Ham. Now, obviously, we'll have to see how they do against Brighton. Obviously, I don't know at the time of recording this, but I still think against West Ham that's a good fixture. To be fair, West Ham saying they're all over the place. Chelsea are a bit too. But obviously, Chelsea is still the better team, better players. They're playing at home. I think I would still bank on them if I was free hitting this week. So probably Mane, Robertson, probably Salah this week. And then Hazard and maybe 2 defenders, especially if they get a clean sheet tonight. And then obviously other players to look at, you've got Palace, Leicester and Bournemouth. Quite like Schlupp. He's played over the double game with 2 games. He's been playing right up forward as well. and obviously he gets clean sheets if they or clean sheet points if they keep a clean sheet. So I like him. And then Leicester players, Maddison, Tielemans, looking good, and maybe Vardy. So that's kind of the structure of my team: 3 Liverpool, 3 Chelsea, and then a few others from Palace and Leicester. I like Maddison still. Tielemans though has been really racking up the points. And then Schlupp maybe at Crystal Palace, and see how Batshuayi does tonight against Spurs. Maybe he could be one to have a look at as well. And then Fabianski replacements, just to spoil it, this is my plan for this week, is a goalkeeper transfer, because I don't really have the money to do another major move, and I'm fairly happy with my team if I'm honest. David Luiz is a little bit of a worry because he's played again tonight, but he's going to have 5 days off now, I think, to the next game, so hopefully he can play. So I'm looking at getting rid of Fabianski because West Ham have been rubbish. Yes, I know this will be the game that he saves a Hazard penalty in, but it's Chelsea away. They've been rubbish, West Ham. So I need to get rid of him, I think, this week. I think that's the best use of my transfer. Boring as it is, I've got a wild card next week. So a few people looking at this. I think if you've got a Chelsea slot spare, then Kepa versus West Ham is the obvious choice if you've got the money. That's probably what I'm going to do. Pickford versus Arsenal is a very outside bet. Obviously, Everton, nice clean sheets recently. I think Pickford's now the second highest scoring goalkeeper in the game, which is a bit ridiculous. But probably not worth betting against Arsenal, I don't think. Otherwise, Burridge versus Burnley, maybe, and then Dubravka against Palace. But I can see Burnley and Palace scoring in those games. I don't know if they're going to be that tight. And Bournemouth defence is not one I'd usually like to back, even against Burnley. So for me, Kepa's the standout choice. And then maybe Burridge and Dubravka if you've not quite got the money. Wildcard 33 or 34. So a lot of people are going to wildcard in 34. The one good thing about wildcard in 33 is you'll have an extra transfer in game week 35, so you'll have 2 to mess about with. Obviously, you've not necessarily got as much knowledge if you wait till 34. Anything that happens in 35, an injury, a sudden rush of form, maybe someone we didn't think that was going to play starts playing, you'd have that info going into 34. So it really depends how you want to play. I'd say if you've planned already for a 33 team, it's probably not that much use wildcard, and I think, yes, you could get Arsenal players in if you haven't already, but they are playing a pretty good Everton team right now, so I wouldn't rush to do that myself. And obviously as well, if you've planned a free hit 32, then 33 normal, and then 34 wildcard, you've got to change your plans a bit and start worrying about managing blanks and double game weeks with one wildcard. So for me, I'm going to stick to the 34 plan. I don't think there's enough of an advantage to doing 33, and I'm pretty happy with my team. But maybe have a look at your team and see what you think. And then captaincy, last of all, I think Hazard versus West Ham could be an option. Again, if West Ham perform how they have been recently, then Hazard could run right. I'd really want to see him do something in the Brighton game, though, because he's been pretty quiet recently. Standout choices, Mane and Salah, because of the Southampton game. For me, I'm currently captain in Mane, and I got Hazard vice-captain. Now, I will look at Hazard for sure, because I think West Ham are poor, but I'm probably going to stick with Liverpool just because they've been so good. Now, right now, I can't really think of a good reason to captain Salah, other than we've seen him do it before. I'm worried about what he might do. He'll probably be the highest picked captain this week again. But Mane's in form, and at some point I've got to go for the form player. I didn't do it last time in Game Week 31, and I'm probably going to do it this time, even though in the back of my mind there's that thought of, well, you missed it last time, surely it's Salah's points, but that's not really a logical reason to make a decision in FPL. So I'm probably going to stick to Mane. Outside bets, you got Leicester against Huddersfield, likes of Vardy, and maybe Bournemouth versus Burnley, but I'm not sure I trust the Bournemouth player enough this week. Vardy maybe, but I think Mane and Salah are the top choices. So I'm probably looking at Mane. Will I stick with that? We'll see. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And then my plans, I've already said it. I'm doing Fabianski to Kepa. Going to go for the double Chelsea home clean sheet against West Ham. A bit like I'm trying to do in the double game week right now. And if Luiz doesn't play, then I've got Wan-Bissaka on the bench. I'm not too concerned about that, which is why I'm going to make the goalkeeper change. I think most other players will play. I can't see too many rests. If I do, maybe a bit unlucky. And I'm obviously hoping that Maguire redeems himself after that red card. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this wasn't too rushed. Hopefully you got a bit of info. Game Week 34, wildcard and stuff. I know we're going to be talking about that a lot in the run-up to Game Week 34. Game Week 33 actually finishes on Monday, and then the next deadline for 34 is on Friday. So there's not actually too much time between when one ends and one starts. Same as this week. The game is going to end tonight at the time of recording on Wednesday, and then the deadline is on Friday. So do not miss that. Otherwise, I'll leave it there. Leave a comment if you've got any other questions, any thoughts about what I've said. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Loads of likes recently, much appreciated. So yeah, stick a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I will catch you next time. Cheers all.